Today we are going to see an introduction to character table. What is character table? A table like this is character table. When we say a table like this is character table, what are the essential ingredients of a character table? We will take some examples, say C2V, and see what are the essential ingredients of a character table. First of all, what is written here is the point group, which is C2V, and what is written in the top is the classes present. There are 4 classes present here. E is one class, C2 is one class, sigma v xz is one class, sigma v dash yz is one class. What you see as A1, A2, B1, B2 here is the irreducible representations. A1, A2, B1, B2 are the irreducible representations. These numbers are characters of irreducible representation. These letters which are present, z square, y square, z square, or z, xy, x, ry, xz, y, rx, yz, etc. These are obtained by performing these symmetry operations like E, C2, sigma v xz and sigma v dash yz on the different orbitals, s orbital, p orbitals and d orbitals, and the rotation vectors rx, ry and rz. In the character table, the first thing we should know is count the number of classes. To count the classes like this, for example, if you take this character table, in this character table here you find the classes. How many classes are there? The number of classes are 2 classes. If you go to some other table, say this one, C3V, the number of classes here in C3V are E is one class, 2C3 is one class, 3 sigma v is one class, and so what you have here is 3 classes. Next, if you go to some other character table, say C2H, you find E, C2, I, sigma H. So you have find 4 classes. Now if we come to D2H, the classes are written here. The number of classes you find are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are totally 8 classes. Now you know how to count the number of classes. Now I will tell you to count the number of irreducible representations. If you take the character table, the irreducible representations here are A dash and A double dash. So you have 2 irreducible representations. And if you take the number of irreducible representations in this C3V point group, the irreducible representations are A1, A2, A2 and E. So there are 3 irreducible representations here. Likewise, if you take the case of C2H point group, the 4 irreducible representations are AG, BG, AU and BU. So there are 4 irreducible representations. Next, if we come to D2H, which we saw earlier, we find AG, B1G, B2G, B3G, AU, B1U, B2U and B3U. And so totally you have 8 irreducible representations. Now you know how to count the irreducible representations. Next thing we will learn from here whatever we have done so far. Here you find two classes and you find two irreducible representations. Here you have three classes and you have three irreducible representations. Here you have four classes and you have four irreducible representations. Yes, here you have 8 classes and you have 8 irreducible representations. In essence, the number of classes should be equal to number of irreducible representations. Then this is the next finding about the character table. Number of classes equal to number of irreducible representations. Next we will come on to other aspect, that is finding out the total number of operations. The total number of operations is given by the symbol H, which is summation GP, where GP is the number of operations in a class. Number of operations in a class. If we go to the character table again, take the first example. Here E is one operation, sigma H is one operation. So the number of operations in this class is 1. Number of operations in this class is again 1. So GP values are 1. H is summation GP. So it is 1 plus 1 equal to 2. So H is equal to 2 in this case. Next we will take the example of some other point group also, say S6. Here you find 4 classes. E is one class, C3 is one class, I is one class, and S6 is one class. The number of operations in E is 1, GP. Number of operations in 2C3 is 2, that is the GP for this class. Number of operations in I is 1. The number of operations in S6 is 2, that is GP. And summation GP is the sum of these terms, and it is 6, and that is the value of H. Similarly, if you come to the C3V point group, the GP values or the number of operations in a class 1, 2 in this class and 3 operations in this class, and H will be equal to summation GP, and so that will be 1 plus 2 plus 3, the sum of these quantities, which is equal to 6 once again. Similarly, here the number of operations are same as the number of classes, and so H is equal to 4. And if you come to this class which we have seen, there in each class the number of operations is 1, and so 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, these are the GP values. If you take the sum of all these values, you will get the number of operations, and that is 8 once again. So the number of operations may be same as class or different from class. Now we go to the next aspect of the character table, that will take as dimensions. For looking at the dimensions, what should we do? We should look at the numbers under E class. This is the E class. Under the E class, look at the numbers. Under E class, if the number is 1, then you will find the term representing the irreducible representation as A or B. If the number is 2, the dimension is true, and you will find it as 2. If the number is 3, the dimension is 3, and you will find the term of the irreducible representation as t. If it is 1, a or b. If it is 2, e. If it is 3, t. That is numbers under the E class. Under the E you find 1, and that is why you find A. And here you find under E number 1 A, number 1 once again B, number 2 E. Here A 1, E 2, A 1 and E 2, A 1, E 2. All the E values are 1. So we find only A and B. All the values under the identity class are 1. You find only A and B. Here, whenever you find A or B, values are 1. When you find EG, the value is 2. When you find EU, the value is 2. Wherever you find E, the value is 2. In the remaining places, you find 1. If you come to the tetrahedral point group, when you find A, you find under E the number is 1. When you find E, number 2. When you find T, number 3. Dimension is 3. Here you can clearly see A is 1, E is 2 and T is 3. So you can find only 3 positive numbers, 1, 2 or 3, which denote the dimensions. When will you get A and when you will get B? Depends upon the point group. In many point groups, axial point groups, if it is symmetric to principal axis, symmetric to principal axis, that is positive, then it is A, the dimension is 1. If it is anti-symmetric to principal axis, that is minus, then the symbol is B. This we will check now. Here C2 is a principal axis. Here this is plus 1, and so you find A. The next number is minus 1, and you find B. Likewise, if you take the case of C4 point group also, dimension is 1, A or B. C4 is the principal axis. If it is symmetric to principal axis, positive, then A. If it is anti-symmetric to principal axis, negative, then B. Likewise, here also you will find this is C3 is the principal axis here. This is plus 1 and this is also plus 1, and so you find only A and not B. In the C2 point group, C2 is the principal axis. These two are plus 1, and so you find A1, A2, A2 A's. These two are minus 1, so you find B's. Next is, we are going to discuss when we will get A1, B1, that is the suffix 1, and when we will get A2, B2, that is the suffix 2. We will go back to the character tables. in groups like this also varies from point group to point group. In groups like this, when you have more than one plane, when it is symmetric to the molecular plane xz, that is positive, then you will get A1. This is symmetric to molecular plane, so you find it as B1. When it is anti-symmetric, you find B2, and when it is -1, you find A2. Similarly, here also you will find you have only one plane, and when it is symmetric to this plane, that is 1, you get as A1. When it is anti-symmetric, you write it as A2. That is, you use the suffix 1 when it is symmetric to the plane of symmetry. When you have more than one plane of symmetry, then it has to be symmetric to sigma v xz, the molecular plane, otherwise to whatever plane that persists. That is positive. Symmetric means positive. When it is anti-symmetric to the molecular plane, when more than one plane is present, or whatever plane that is present, that is negative, then you use the suffix 2. Next we move on to few other notations. That is, whenever you find center of symmetry I, if it is symmetric to I, it is symmetric to I, that is positive, then you will make use of the suffix G. When it is anti-symmetric to I, that is minus, you make use of the term U, ungerade, U. G is gerade and U is ungerade. This will go and check with a few examples from the character table. We will take the case where we have the center of symmetry. Only then we can learn about this. In this group, there is center of symmetry I. Whenever you have positive quantities under I, you find the term suffix as G, and whenever you have negative quantities, you find the suffix as U, AU and BU. Similarly, if you go to some other group, say this group, from here to here you find I positive values. For that you use the suffix G. The remaining values are negative values, and for this you will find the suffix U. This is with regard to I, the center of symmetry. We will take some other example also. Here you find I, and this is positive with regard to I. Then you will find A1G, A2G, EG, G as a suffix. When it is negative with regard to I, then you will find it as U as a suffix. This is about center of symmetry. The next we are going to look at is about sigma h, the horizontal plane of symmetry. When it is symmetric to sigma h, then we will have the superscript instead of subscript. We will have the superscript as dash, that is positive to sigma h. When you have anti-symmetric to sigma h, then we'll get double dash. This we will see now with few examples. We'll take the case where sigma h alone is present here. When it is symmetric, that is, you have only plus 1, then what you find here is a dash, a dash. When it is anti-symmetric, you find a double dash. So we have to look at sigma h, and if it is symmetric, positive, a dash. Dash is the superscript. If you find it as minus 1, then a double dash. Double dash is the superscript. We will take some other example to learn about this. Examples containing sigma h. And when you have a sigma h like this, sigma h alone and not I. Here you find sigma h. When it is positive, when the character is under sigma h is positive, symmetric, you find a dash and e dash. When it is negative under sigma h, anti-symmetric to sigma h, then you will find a double dash and e double dash. Now there is a question that arises when you find I as well as sigma h, the same point group. In many point groups you will find I as well as sigma h. Then the priority in naming will be given to I, and based on the value of I, you will give this subscript as G or U, and you will not name with the dash and double dash. When both I and sigma h are present, priority will be given to I. We will take some examples for this also. When you take this example of C2H, where you find I as well as sigma h, I have told that we have to give priority to I. If we give priority to I, name it as A, G and BG, and not as A dash and B dash. For I, when it is antisymmetric minus, named it as AU and BU, and not as A dash or A double dash and B dash. So the priority is given to I. We will take some other example also. In the C4H point group also, you find I as well as sigma h. So the priority is given to I, and if it is positive, symmetric to I, then you name it as AG, BG and EG, and if it is negative, that is anti-symmetric to I, you name it as AU, BU and EU. You don't name it after sigma h. You don't call it as A dash, B double dash, etc. So far we have discussed a few of the features of the character table, not all of the features of the character table. This you call as non-axial group because there is no axis present here. You find only E and sigma h. Wherever you find axis present, they are referred to as axial point groups. These are axial groups because the axis, say C2 is present, C2, C3, C4, etc. are present, whereas it is not present earlier. You find only E1 and sigma h. So it's a non-axial group. You don't find an axis. When you find an axis, you call it as axial groups. We will then, I'll tell you something about the special point groups. And when you have a special point group, say a tetrahedral and octahedral groups, etc., you find the heading as cubic groups. When you have a cube like this, if you have atoms in the opposite corners of the cube, and if you connect with the central atom, what you will get is a tetrahedron. And so tetrahedron is known as a cubic group because it is based on a cube, opposite corners of a cube. Whereas if you take the case of octahedron, octahedron is once again based on a cube, and that is why it is classified under cubic point groups. But in the case of octahedron, it is not opposite corners. Atoms are present in centers of each face of the cube. There are totally 6 faces present in a group: top face, bottom face, front face, and there will be a back face, and left face, right face. If you connect all these lines, you get an octahedron. They will connect the center of faces, and that is why octahedron is classified under octahedral point group. So when it comes to special point groups, you call them as cubic point groups because they are based on a cube. When you take the case of tetrahedron, atoms occupy opposite corners of the cube. When it comes to octahedron, atoms occupy the centers of 6 faces. Next we come to an aspect which is very simple. Here you find only 2 symmetry elements, H is 2, whereas here when it comes to C2V, you find H is equal to 4, number of operations is equal to 4. When it comes to C3V, you get the number of operations as 6. When you come to D2H, the number of operations is 8. When you come to tetrahedron, 1 plus 8 plus 3 plus 6 plus 6, 3 plus 6 plus 6, you get 12 plus 3, 15 plus 8, 23 plus 1, 24. The number of operations is 24. Now when you come to octahedron, if you sum up 1 plus 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus 1 plus 6 plus 8 plus 3 plus 6, you will get the value of H as 48. This is for the octahedral point group, OH. H is equal to 24 for tetrahedral point group. When the number of operations increase, the symmetry increases. That means for the octahedron you have higher symmetry than tetrahedron, because here you find H is equal to 48, whereas here you find H is equal to 24. Whereas if you take the CS group, you find the value of H as 2. That means the symmetry is very less. Whereas in the octahedron, the symmetry is very high because H is equal to 48. So summing up these features, you can write when the number of symmetry operations increase, that is H increase, symmetry increases. The other thing you should know in general is in every character table you find several letters in the right hand side like this. These numbers here, these letters x, y, z, square, y square, z square, etc. represent the result of carrying out these symmetry operations. S, P and D orbitals. And the rotation vectors Rx, Ry and Rz. So these letters in fact represent effective symmetry operations on the rotation vectors Rx, Ry and Rz, and these S, P and D orbitals. If you find the letter X, Y and Z, they represent the P orbitals. If you find the letters S square, Y square, Z square, they represent S orbitals. When you find letters like this X, Y, Y, Z, X, Z, S square minus Y square, etc., they represent D orbitals. These are obtained based on the symmetry operations, carrying out these symmetry operations on SPD orbitals and rotation vectors. So there can be many more aspects of the character table, but we have gone on to a few aspects only. Hope you have understood the character table to a certain extent. Thank you.